All right, we got two German pistols on the table. Excited to do this review and bring you our opinions of the HK VP9 SK and the Walther PPQ subcompact. What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot and thank you guys for joining us. Like I said, I'm excited for this review. Cannot wait to bring you the information on these two guns and a little bit of history thrown in. As of recently, I'm into World War II history. Like it has taken over all of my research, and I'm infatuated by it. So we'll have a little bit of that in this review: pros and cons, shooting, and which gun is better. And in America right now, we have so many awesome American-made guns, obviously, but there's also a lot of guns that are made outside of the U.S. that are really awesome as well. And these are two fine examples. And of course, our patrons of the channel, we love you guys, man. Doing giveaways over on Patreon for the quarter, and we are doing some really cool things over there. So if you want to become a patron of the channel, we would appreciate it, and you'll be able to get a little behind the scenes and more of what we do, videos first and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. Let's go ahead and get into it. So as far as the guns, what they're going to come with out of the box, the HK, both of them, they come with nice hard cases. H&K right there, padded inside. You're of course going to get a manual for the VP series. If you guys can see that, really nice. It's going to tell you everything you need to know about your VP9 SK. All right, so you're going to get the gun. You're going to get two 10-round magazines. This one, there is a law enforcement edition too that comes with night sights, and I believe it comes with one more magazine. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it comes with a flat base plate there, and then a extended base plate right there. Okay, both 10 rounds. Now, what's cool about the H&K is you're also going to get side panel replacement and backstrap replacements. I'm not going to do all that in this particular video, but if you go over and watch our initial review of the HK VP9 SK, I show you how to do all that. But it is cool. You can actually change your side panels and your back straps. And then you're going to get an assist loader and all that stuff. I'm actually going to take both mags out of the boxes, or out of the box, I should say. Now let's go to the Walther PPQ. Again, a hard case. All right, you're going to get the gun. You're going to get the manual. All right, there you go. Really nice manual on both of them. It's going to tell you everything you need to know there. Get the gun. All right, on this one, it came with 3 magazines. This is the law enforcement edition, so it's got night sights. 3 magazines, 2 10 rounds. There's your extended right there. And then it also comes with the extended 15-round magazine with your base plate extension there. So basically a full-size PPQ, shorter barrel and all that. But if you want a good backup mag, that would be a good one to have. Assist loader and all of that. Let me get these mags out of the way. Now this one will come with one extra back strap, so you can kind of change that out there. You see what that looks like. This one's going to give you a little bit more of a hump there in the rear, as opposed to the flat kind of deal that we have on there right now. So put that back in, and it will come with a reversible magazine release for you left-handed shooters. So pretty cool. All right, so let's talk about the history of these companies a little bit, because I think I'd be doing you guys a huge disservice if I didn't. So in 1886, Walther started the company. Carl Walther started it in 1886. Fast forward, World War II. All right, Walther is making guns for Nazi Germany. They're making the P38. They're making the PPK. They're even making a rifle for Nazi Germany. All right, problem is, and it's actually a good thing, obviously, Nazi Germany fell. Okay, the Allies won. That's where H&K actually comes into the picture. So what was cool is that Mauser, or better known to the Germans, Waffenfabrik Mauser, working on my German for the video, by the way, they worked with Walther a lot during World War II to help them produce their guns, okay? And one little tidbit is Walther actually took Walther off of the side of their pistols in, I don't know, 1940, because basically what they thought is, hey, if the Allies find out Walther is making our guns, they'll be able to find our plants easier and bomb them. So they actually started putting codes on the side of the slides. A little interesting tidbit there, but Mauser was helping Walther make some of their guns. Fast forward, Nazi Germany falls, and what became of the plant and some of the tooling and all that kind of stuff, H&K stepped in. Who started H&K? 3 former Mauser employees. All right, Edmund Heckler, Theodore Koch, and Alex Seidel started the company. Basically, what was left of the plant, the Walther plant, they took what they could, and then they started machining all kinds of things, bicycle parts, sewing machine parts. And then in 1956, the West German Army needed a new rifle, and that's when HK stepped in, and they came out with the G3, which was accepted, and then the MP5 in 66, and then from there, I mean, the rest is just history, and it really is. So it's kind of cool how, you know, Mauser and Walther were working together. They were on the wrong side of the war, and then after that, HK kind of picked up where Walther left off. Now, obviously, we have both guns in the USA today. In 99, Smith & Wesson started importing guns for Walther and became an authorized importer for them. And then in 2012, Walther Arms Incorporated took over distribution. Now, Walther and Smith & Wesson still do work together, and Smith & Wesson actually makes the new PPKs. So we have both guns in the U.S. I believe Walther is out of Arkansas, and HK has a plant in Georgia. But they're still both made in Germany. So I thought that it was really cool how they kind of intertwined. One was on one side of history, one wasn't even really around, but the same guys that were making the pistols started the new HK company. Now, afterwards, Walther actually still made some guns for the German army. They started making the P-38 again in 1953. Fritz Walther, who was Karl Walther's son, he reformed the company in Germany in 1953, started making the P-38 again. I believe they called it the P-1 at that time. But I just wanted to share that history with you because it is very fascinating. All right, now that we got the history lesson out of the way, let's talk about some of the specs and basically what make these guns unique, starting with the Walther. Barrel length, 3.5 inches. Trigger is anywhere from 5 to 6 pounds. We'll talk about the triggers after the shooting part of the review, and trust me, you want to stick around for that because these two have some amazing triggers. Overall length, 6.6 inches. Width, 1.3 inches. And the empty weight is 21.2 ounces. H&K, all right, the barrel length is 3.3 inches. The trigger is anywhere from 4.5 to 5.5 pounds. Again, we'll check that after shooting. Overall length, 6.6 inches. Width, 1.3 inches. Empty weight, 23 ounces. And the height with the regular mag is 4.5 inches. That's all well and good. Height on this one is 4.4 inches with a regular mag. That's all well and good, but how do they look compared next to each other? Because that, I feel, gives you a better perspective of what these guns actually look like. Turn them this way for you guys. You can tell the Walther is a little bit longer there. A little bit longer barrel as well. If you look at the widths, pretty much the same, and according to the specs, they really are the same. And then the grip length, all right? So Mrs. Heckshot will get down here and kind of show you, and then you can pretty much tell right here that the H&K is just a little bit longer in the grip. If we put the extended pinky mags in there, doesn't make a difference on the capacity. Just want to show you what that looks like here really quick. The HK is significantly longer there in the grip. All right, what about features? Because this is going to be pretty cool because these things are loaded with features. All right, ambidextrous magazine release. It's not fully ambidextrous, but you can swap it to the other side for left-handed shooters. Let's start up here. How about this? You have the pick rail, squared off trigger guard, which is serrated. Undercut in the trigger guard. You can tell it's flattened out under here so you can get your fingers high up there. Traditional magazine release. Now, this is something that a lot of Walther fans and probably German fans as well, obviously, don't like this, okay? But this is for the American market, and American shooters like the standard magazine release, or the button magazine release, you should say. The grip texturing on both of these guns, but on the Walther, is just awesome. You have these little squigglies all the way around. Not overly aggressive, but aggressive enough to keep the gun locked in your hand. And when you're carrying a gun like this with this grip texturing, it doesn't tear up your skin. It doesn't tear up your clothes. It just feels really nice in the hand and when you're carrying, which is nice. Serrated trigger, which is just awesome. Loaded viewport right there, so you can see your brass down in the chamber. Like I said, this one is the night sights version. All right, so these are steel sights. Show you the actual sights there. And they will actually glow during the day and light up at night. Now, one thing I did notice is at night they're kind of weak as far as the power, but during the day these things are awesome. Front and rear slide serrations, and one cool little thing is the German stamping right there on the slide and on the barrel. You see it's made in Germany. Overall, just a nice looking pistol. Slide release, you can actually work it as a release on this gun too, by the way. Drop the slide on both sides of the gun, so full-time ambi controls there. And then moving over to the H&K front and rear slide serrations. Now, one thing, let's talk about this real quick. The PPQ is tenifer coated throughout. So the slide, barrel, inside parts, everything is tenifer coated. On the H&K, they have what's called their hostile environment finish. On the metal, obviously on the slide, the springs, pins, any metal parts throughout, that's what they have going on there. You do have a pick rail up front here as well. Squared off trigger guard. You can tell they're kind of squared off, but they do have that rounded portion right there in the middle, which is serrated on both guns. This one is a little bit different, and when you pick this gun up, it might take you a little bit of getting used to because you have this really flat, wide area. You can tell your magazine release, full-time ambidextrous, and it's in the trigger guard. So you're either going to like that or you're going to hate it. I don't really know of any people that kind of like it or are okay with it. I'm in the middle. I can go with this. I can get used to this all day long. I actually carry this gun for quite a while, and sometimes I still carry it because it's just that good. But full-time ambi controls, left or right-handed shooters. Drop it with your middle finger of your shooting hand, and it works great. Slide release on this side. All right, let me show you. It's pretty small, out of the way. On this side, it's again small, out of the way, but now it's a bar. All right, so it's a little bit different from side to side there, but still flush to the frame. Much more flush than the PPQ. See if I can kind of show you the difference there, if you can see that at all. PPQ just sticks out a little bit more than the H&K. One neat thing that they did on the VP series is they added these little charging ears right there. All right, so that helps you grasp the back of the slide if your hands are sweating or whatever the case may be. Grip texturing, again, man, these things are very close. Again, you have these little squigglies all the way around the pistol. On the side panels, on the back strap, again, carrying these two pistols is very similar. Now, I don't have a holster for the PPQ subcompact, but carrying the guns, they're essentially the same size. This one's a little bit lighter, actually. So this one would probably be a little bit more comfortable to conceal than this one, to be honest with you. Now, in this one, you do have the luminescent sights as well. These are not a night sight option, but you can get night sights on this gun. I believe it's around $100 more. Don't quote me on that, but these work really well during the daytime. One difference in the sights, you can tell how these are sloped, kind of like a Novak style. And on the Walther, you have more of a shelf there, so you can do one-handed reloads if you needed to. So that's kind of nice. Telling the front sights, you can tell the H&K is dovetailed, the Walther is pinned. Alright, so very similar in the design. They both have the molded finger grooves. Alright, so if that bugs you for whatever reason, some people it does. You know, they don't like it. But on a small gun like this, and they're not very pronounced at all, I don't mind it. Magazines here really quick. Obviously, you have the magazines that come with the gun. On the H&K, you can get the P30 mags, 15-round mags for this gun. They work flawlessly. On the PPQ, You can get the 15 round mags, or you can use your existing 15 round mags, but you got to update the spring. All right, they actually have a spring kit. Because this slide is lighter, it's moving faster, you have to update the spring inside of the gun. Also, if you're using 15 rounds on this gun, there is a chance you could over insert if you don't have the grip sleeve to go along with it. So just keep that in mind. MSRP on the Walther is right around $649. On the H&K is $719. So I told you they're loaded with features, and we may even touch on a couple more things as the review goes along here. Let's talk about, or let's go ahead and do the breakdown here, and then I'll show you comparison to the Glock 26, and then we'll take you guys to the range with us. On the H&K, lock the slide to the rear, make sure that it's clear, of course. Rotate your lever down, slide comes right off. On the PPQ, slide to the rear, make sure it's clear. Pull down on your tabs, pull the trigger, slide comes off. Metal captive recoil spring on the PPQ. Don't have to take out the barrel. And you see this insert. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. This insert right here, it's actually a polymer plastic insert right here. And that's what lightens the slide up quite a bit, so that's why you have to change out your magazines, and the slide's moving so much quicker than the original PPQ. But you can see your striker block right there. Pretty neat design, striker, all that good stuff. And then the internals, you can see your guide rails right there. One thing you will notice on the slides as well, pull them around like this, external extractor. And this actually doubles as a chamber indicator on the H&K. On the PPQ, you do not have an external extractor. You have an internal extractor. Let me take this off real quick so I can show you guys that. You can see right there that internal extractor. Not a lot of the guns that we do nowadays, even on the Glock, I'll show you that. External extractor. Not a lot of the guns we do have internal extractors nowadays, so that's pretty interesting. A little design change right there. Let me put the barrel back in here. Captive recoil spring. Again, it's metal on the H&K. Metal guide rod, dual captive, and you can see now this is pretty cool. They have kind of a lever type of deal that acts as a striker block there. All right, gets that striker out of the way so it can, hit the back of the primer there. All right, pretty cool. You can see the lock and block, your guide rails, all of that good stuff. All right, so let's put the pistols back together. I'll show you what they look like compared to the Glock 26, which these pistols are definitely competing for that share market amongst others. Make sure we're good. All right, really quick. We'll put the flat base plates in this for this one. And you'll be able to see the difference. The Glock is 10 rounds, so all of these are standard 10 round guns. Walther and the PPQ are essentially the same grip height. From the PPQ to the HK, you have a little bit of a difference. If I take the PPQ out for just a second, you can see you have a good 1/2 of an inch difference in the grip length. You may be thinking, well, that's not a whole lot. Inside the waistband, trying to conceal the guns, it can make quite a bit of a difference. So just keep that in mind. Carrying, like I said, I don't have a holster for the PPQ, but I do have one for the H&K VP9 SK. And like I said, I still even carry this gun sometimes just because I love it. It's such a great shooter. But before I get ahead of myself, let's take you guys to the range with us, show you how they shot, and then we will talk about the triggers, do pros and cons, and our overall opinions on the PPQ and HK VP9 SK. We'll see you guys in a minute. right, VP9 SK. Let's see how it does. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Both guns are fantastic shooters. I mean, for this size of gun, you know, subcompact in their lineup at least, really great shooters. Did an awesome job. As far as which one shoots better, I personally think the HK is in my hands, at least on that day with that humidity and that temperature. I mean, really, that's the only thing that really may change is the day. They're both really awesome shooters. Okay, let's check the trigger on the PPQ subcompact. See, you have the little dingish right there. Make sure it's clear. You hit the wall, and the PPQ is known for its trigger. Hit the wall there, and it breaks. Such an amazing trigger on this gun. Reset, short, crisp, very nice trigger. What about the weight on it? Let's check it out here real quick. 5 pounds, 6 ounces. One more time. 5 pounds, 3 ounces. So right around 5 ounces or so, 5.5 ounces. What about the H&K? Again, you have a little trigger tab safety there. All right, has more of a curve to the trigger. Well, they're both kind of curved, but you can see how it kind of hinges down almost a little bit, but it's not a hinge. All right, you hit the wall, and it breaks. This one definitely does feel heavier, but it's not bad at all. It's actually really good. Reset. A little bit longer in the reset. And the trigger pulls. Let's check the weight on this one. 5 pounds, 13 ounces. Let's try it again. 5 pounds, 14 ounces. So closer to 6 pounds on this one. Again, it does feel a little bit heavier. But at the range, felt recoil, everything, they're so similar, man. I mean, it's really hard to tell which one is a better shooter. You guys tell me in the comments, which one do you think that we shot better? And we'll go with that. I mean, I'm not afraid to do that because they just shoot. They're both really awesome. All right. And this is not what they're designed for. They're designed to be self-defense guns. That's the benefit, though, of having a size of gun like this that you can carry and still take the range and have a good time. So uses, obviously, we just touched on that. Concealed carry is primary. Okay, so these are meant to be a, hopefully not, but lifesaver if you need them on you every single day. Find a good holster, get a good gun belt. You guys know where we stand. Holster, holsters, core essentials. We have discounts for both. That's what we like to use. All right. Can't speak too much on carrying the Walther PPQ subcompact, but I've carried this gun and they're so similar. This one's a little bit lighter, so it's going to be a little bit easier to carry. Really, they are not that different. Even in the texturing on the grip, they are really very similar. And that leads us to pros and cons. Mrs. Heckshot has hers, and I have mine. Let's touch on Mrs. Heckshot's pros with the H&K. She really likes the paddle magazine release. All right, this is something that she actually enjoyed. The finger grooves, she likes that. Keeps the gun more locked into her hand. The charging ears on the back, she liked that too. These are especially helpful whenever your hands are sweating. If your hands happen to slip off of the slide, you actually have something to grip onto, and they don't stick out that much from the frame. Yes, they do look a little bit funny, but you can remove them if you want to. but I like them there. The trigger, she likes that. And for me personally, I liked everything she liked. One thing that I think this gun has a benefit of is it's been out longer. So you have multiple colors. You have the urban gray. You have the FDE, the olive drab. So you have more color combinations there. The interchangeable grip panels is definitely a pro. I mean, you can literally fit this gun exactly to your hand, whereas with the PPQ, you can only do your back strap. All right, so you have more options with the grip. And to me, this one looks better over time, I feel. You know, whatever this hostile environment coating they do, I've had this gun for, 2 years now? And it still looks great. In and out of a holster, not much slide wear at all. Yeah, there's a little bit right there. But man, the coating and everything on this gun, it practically looks brand new. That coating is just great. What about the pros on the PPQ? Because this one has a ton as well. Mrs. Headshot, the grip texturing. Better hand fitment actually for her on the PPQ. My hands actually fit the HK a little bit better, but she likes the way this fits in her hand, better. The trigger is better, and I think this is an agreement between both of us. The trigger on this thing is just, for a striker fire gun, it's refined. It's perfect. Out of the box, you don't have to do anything with it. The slide release, in my opinion, works better. All right, as a release or as a slide stop, it's more positive. It's a little bit wider, and you can get your fingers up there and actually work the slide release a little bit better. And then on the H&K, on this slide release, it feels kind of cheap. I'm not going to lie. This side doesn't feel so bad. This one with the little bar, not sure why they did that. I'm sure there's some kind of engineering reason why they did it like that. Maybe not, I don't know, but it just feels cheaper and not as easy to use. And then on the PPQ, the mags actually eject better out of the gun. All right, you have a more positive, get that magazine out of there. On the H&K, it's a little slower. They fall out. It's not like it's a bad release, but on the PPQ, you can get those mags right out of there, no issue at all. And then I think for size to weight capacity ratio, the PPQ actually beats the H&K. Now, keep in mind, HK is a little bit older. And as we advance in technology, things, get lighter. You can use polymer in other places where maybe you couldn't before. Whatever the case may be, they did it better on this gun. It's more closely related or in size to the Glock 26, which has been a standard in this size of gun. All right. What about cons on the H&K? The curved back strap for Mrs. Headshot, she personally does not like this. Now, we do have one that makes it a little bit flatter, but even then, it still has that little bit of a hump. She's not that big of a fan. I think it's more so of her trying to reach around to the trigger. This kind of makes it a little bit tougher to do that. And then the trigger guard for me, now, like I said, I feel like I shoot this gun a little bit better. I don't know if I can even say that. They're so freaking close. But when I pick this gun up, it's a little bit awkward at times. I got to get used to it again because of this flat, really flat underbottom. They both have a flat kind of spot there in the frame. This one just feels more so where I'm really trying to hug up and get under the gun, and I never feel like I can get a good enough purchase, if that makes any sense. It doesn't have any effect on my shooting. It's just kind of an awkward feeling. Right whenever I pick it up for the first time. Other than that, it's heavier than this gun by an ounce and a half. So compared to the PPQ, I'd say that's a con. Con on the PPQ, this portion of the magazine release Mrs. Headshot didn't like. I guess sometimes while she was shooting, and I didn't really notice it until she said something, just trying to get the magazine out of there, sometimes she'd inadvertently hit that little guard right there that's meant to protect the magazine release so you don't accidentally hit it while you're carrying it or whatever. She didn't care for that too much. And then, compared to the H&K, I like the Americanized magazine release. I don't see that really being an issue, though. I don't see that as like a major selling point for really either one, because I could get used to this without a problem. And like I said, I still carry this gun confidently, knowing that I can get to that. Obviously, you want to train, but, you know, the magazine release, she just had a problem with that part of it right there. And then one other personal con for myself with the PPQ, it doesn't look as balanced as the H&K does. You know, it just has a funky kind of look to it, almost like the slide is too big for the gun or something. The H&K, even though it's a little bit longer in the grip, it just has a more balanced look. And like I said, this is aesthetics. This has nothing to do with what guns are intended to do. Just one of my personal little preferences right there. I just think the H&K is a better looking gun. But overall, each gun, man, is so similar in how they've crossed paths with the companies and how they started and going through wars and H&K taking over after the war. And all this kind of stuff leads us to today, 2019. In America, we have two awesome pistols to choose from. So which one would I choose? Well, first of all, let me give them a grade. PPQ subcompact, I would say, is a 9 out of 10. HK VP9 SK is a 9 out of 10. I mean, really, they're that good, but they're too close for me to call. Normally, I will tell you a clear-cut winner. These guns just have so many awesome things going for them. I really could not tell you. I shoot better with the H&K. I actually carry the H&K, but I take the Walther in my arsenal pretty much any day. So there you go. That's where I stand. Now, if you guys have a clear-cut winner in this video, or if I miss anything, please leave us a comment down in the comments section below. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, where I'm sharing all kinds of awesome deals with you guys, and we are now on Instagram. So please come over, give us a follow, subscribe to us here. We love you guys. We thank you for all the support. We'll see you in the next one, and as always, hold them down.